What's up, everyone? On our plate for this week, Xbox accidentally commits the biggest leak in gaming history, and we talk about if it actually matters. We get good news about the Xbox v Activision deal. It's good for some, for Jordan, for sure.
Okay.
Why did Ubisoft announce their next big game the way they did? Hmm. Is Rockstar building their own platform? Game Pass platform. Jeez, that's a tongue twister. And then we get updates on the games we've been playing, including Baldur's Gate 3, Starfield, and the first Descendents beta. All this and more in Season 7, Episode 37 of Press X Start Gamers Digest. It's my little dance. I do that before I roll in Baldur's Gate. Ensures I get a critical success. It's really critical miss. Anyways, what's up, everyone? I'm your host, TJ, aka Sexy Bad Choices, aka. So there was a time where I defied a god in Baldur's Gate 3, and the god showed me what was up, which was the game over screen. I am
Mm-hmm.
joined by,
Sean M.F. Ross,
what does the MF stand for?
father of the minute.
Oh, of the minute.
Fuck, that's a minute.
Of the
Hey man,
minute.
I'm gonna stay humble. No,
Right. And then next we have.
Jordan, aka JXBot, aka leader of the Crimson Fleet.
Ooh. For those who don't know, Crimson is a variant of red. So now you know. Now you know who we are. Press X Start Gamers Digest is a video podcast that condenses the most important gaming news from this past week into an hour-long meal just for you. We are live on YouTube every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We did it. We did it, guys. We made it. We're awesome. Don't forget, you can support us by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and the notification bell. If you are listening, we greatly appreciate you leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or the podcast services you are currently tuned in on. And if you want to join our conversations, you can by joining our Discord at pressx2start.com/Discord. Do it. I'm watching. Well, I'm listening. I can't really watch you do it because that's not how the internet works. So I'm going to listen. I hear you clicking. Good. Thanks. So yeah, now we have all out the way. Let us jump into the gaming news. First up, I put everything under heavy hitter. Wow, look at me. Just look at that. Anyways, first up, the massive Xbox leak. There's 11 big reveals. We are going to jump to Kotaku. I nailed it. And this comes by way of Claire Jackson. So this was the this was the talk of the week essentially. So there was essentially the backstory on this was that for the is this still Microsoft Activision? This is at Microsoft
FTC.
Activision.
Yeah.
Yes. So essentially Microsoft accidentally uploaded all this information in essentially the wrong place. So it was made public.
They didn't protect it, password protected or something. They didn't. Yeah, they didn't do it securely.
Yeah. Yeah. So they didn't do it securely and it was made public for long enough essentially for people to notice and grab all the information. And now it's public for all of us. So essentially this information comes from it's like 2020. So it's pretty old. And this is kind of the thought process behind no
Yeah.
thought process of Phil Spencer and Xbox
Mhm.
back then, before a lot of big things happened, mainly COVID. So, first thing we're going to talk about Microsoft considered buying Nintendo. So,
Marcus, insert laugh track there.
so there's a caveat behind this because it wasn't necessarily that Microsoft wanted to buy Nintendo. It was more so there was a email sent to Phil and he had to explain why Microsoft essentially just wouldn't buy Nintendo.
Exactly.
So that's kind of
even though the headlines
the
are saying
backstory.
differently, but
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, like it was someone at Microsoft's like, hey, we're looking like outside looking in. Phil, do you think this could happen? And Phil's like, I mean, no, but maybe.
Yeah. Again, this was back in 2020. This was, I would imagine, this email came before Nintendo dropped Animal Crossing New Horizons, and that was gangbusters. That was like one of the top selling games of that year. So it's one of those things where we're looking back on this with hindsight being 2020. It's just like there's no way that Microsoft would want to dish out all that money to buy Nintendo. And like at that point, I forget exactly how many units the Switch was at in terms of their sell through rate, but like it was super high. So it's just like there's no way, there's no reason for this. There's no yeah. So that's that. How much? Yeah, do you guys want to get into this one?
Yeah, I mean, I just wonder how both Microsoft and Sony view Nintendo as a competitor holistically. Because even during the FTC process, Sony's like, Nintendo, they can't run Call of Duty. Like they're not really a console. Like this 10-year concession is bullshit. Like that was them.
And I could understand it looking at this Mortal Kombat 1 port. So I mean, Phil Spencer said at the time that it's gonna be console parity amongst all three systems, and unless he's referring to the Switch 2, which has
like before not to get too far away from it, like how they view Nintendo as a competitor, both Microsoft and Sony. Like, do they view them as a competitors completely at parity with them? To which, would they ever float the idea of like some sort of consolidation because they're using hardware that is weaker? They are great at getting the most out of it and creating amazing games like Zelda, which is a bit of a charge against both of them. Like, hey, you guys have like the most powerful consoles, but we have like fucking sticks and stones over here making magic, Right. So, but yeah,
Tony stuck in a cave.
I wonder truly, both Phil Spencer and Jim Ryan, like how they truly view Nintendo as a competitor.
The way that I would assess it is I feel like they do consider them a competitor, but not a direct competitor. I think, the obvious thing is like, okay, Microsoft and Sony, they're considered direct competitors because those games have a potential of showing up on either console. But I think Microsoft and PlayStation or Sony probably looks at Nintendo and thinks of it as like, oh, they're going to drop Tears of the Kingdom. We know how crazy Breath of the Wild was. We won't release any of our big games anywhere around that because we respect how Gangbusters is going to do. And it's the idea that like, most, I guess, hardcore gamers do own two consoles at this point. And it's usually a PlayStation, Xbox, a PlayStation or an Xbox, and a Switch. So like they know that.
Say what? I don't have a Switch. I do have a PlayStation, Xbox.
Yes. Jordan's a special case,
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. Well, like it's
what is
Nintendo?
Too much. I don't even understand what Nintendo
is. Spreading my bandwidth between three consoles is fucking stupid.
Yeah, that'd be insane. But it is that thing of like, they know Nintendo as a juggernaut and they know to respect those tentpole games like Mario. Like it is a weird thing that Mario is going to release really close to Spider-Man, but I feel like
that's like a
I don't think anybody's choosing between the two. Either in the market for one or the other or both. Nobody's saying I am not going to get this because I'm getting this.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, it's Mario 3DS 4.0 is what they're about to ship out.
That if it was a 3D Mario, I think that would be more cause for concern for PlayStation. But it is the 2D Mario. It does look good, but yeah. So that's that. So in terms of them considering Nintendo as competitor, like I think it is, but I think there's just more caveats to it, like competitor in this case. Yeah. So the next thing is Bethesda might be working on a Oblivion remaster. So this is cool, but like it's also like you kind of expect that being how the next Elder Scrolls game is going to be years away, like literal years away.
Yeah.
So it's like they would have to probably do some kind of stopgap in between here and then.
I mean, it's pretty funny because of how many like Skyrim remasters that we have. They're like, we haven't done a remaster of Fallout 3, I guess, so we have time to do that now. Fuck it.
That's true. So, okay, Phil Spencer says AAA game publishers lost their mojo in a way. So Phil Spencer stated that AAA publishers were slow to react to the disruption of digital storefronts like Steam and the shops built into Xbox and PlayStation. So basically, what he's getting at is that the industry has started to shift. And because of that shift to digital, the
Mhm.
other third party publishers, Ubisoft, Activision, I think he calls those out specifically, have been, it's been difficult for them to transition over to that. And because of that, they are seeing decline in their games. They're becoming more scared of trying new things. So they're kind of relying on their old IPs or,
Mhm.
you know,
Which is funny though, because they're buying Activision for all their old IPs.
But a lot of
well,
those are games as a service
I
games.
understand that, but a lot of the
yeah,
games that Activision Blizzard has is legacy franchise games that have been out for
And remember,
decades.
King's a part of that purchase too. No
yeah,
one
yeah. I
talks
was gonna
about King.
say I continue to think that like Microsoft is going for Activision because of King, and like Call of Duty is just kind of icing on the cake. But like King, like Candy Crush makes so much money
It
on
makes
mobile.
Yeah,
it
It is like the top. It's
infinity
the
money.
top game of like all time. Like we talk about how big Call of Duty is, and then like
the
Call of Duty
Candy
is
Crush
like,
yearly revenue is 1.2 billion.
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Like it's insane how big Candy Crush is, and the fact that it's so big that one, we don't have any comprehension of it because we don't talk about it and we don't talk about how big it
Yeah,
is. And then it's just that because we don't talk about it, it doesn't exist to us. And it's just like, oh, well, yeah, obviously Call of Duty is a big thing that Activision wants to buy, or that Microsoft want to buy because it's Activision, but then we don't see the other side.
Well,
it looks like
not
Call of Duty makes roughly about 1 billion a year as well, but with considerably more overhead. But go ahead.
no, like that's get too far from Phil's statement in terms of AAA pub.
Hmm.
Like this, Jim Ryan highlighted next to that
Hmm.
last year. And
Mm.
this is outside of like, okay, guys, those bangers that you wanted, they're a couple years out. Like we're talking 2024, 25, 26 for like Ghost of Tsushima and then like the next iterations of our games, Wolverine. And that's why we saw all of these games as service games because I'd imagine overhead for those are fairly lower. And, like, yeah, they're easy to get out.
Well,
That's why you can make 12 in a row.
the caveat of that's why we saw the last PlayStation showcase had all those potential games or service games.
Right.
Is that what you're
And
referring to?
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And
Yeah.
and in his predecessor, Sean Layden, said that like only having that style, at least this like back in 2018 before he left,
Mm.
only having that style of like it's going to be very hard to sustain, like very hard to
Having the
sustain, like
style of single player games.
yeah, like of like the big AAA, like what
Yes.
of the 2013 Grand Theft Auto midnight launch. That was the peak. That was the peak of that generation of video gaming. Was in my mind was the
Mm.
midnight launch back in 2013 of Grand Theft Auto 5.
In
Since
terms
then,
of how big it was,
no, in terms of
or
like that style, in terms of like the retail space, like we get all like this is like because
oh,
Phil Spencer's quote is about digital retail. It's like
yeah, yeah, okay,
it's no longer we go to the store. It's
right,
like in terms of physically, like
right.
that the mindset of the game of the core gamer consumer at that time, like there was more. I will use the term like ownership of the copy they got.
Yeah.
There was
Mm.
more of a build up associated with it. Like there's more of a palpable, like anticipation of it. But now it's way more dispersed. Like now
Yeah,
it's different mentality now, which also associated with accessibility. Yeah, that's how
right.
I'll put it. But like, yeah, what the big AAA bangers need to have a lot more compelling to succeed nowadays.
A lot more compelling to succeed. I don't know if that is completely true. I think part of it is that like we as consumers have kind of seen past or seen through a lot of the BS when it comes to game marketing and that stuff. And it's just like me personally, I I teeter totter between being like a single player gamer versus being like a games of service multiplayer
Mhm.
gamer or whatever. And like it is, I do find it a bit more. I'm a little more hard pressed to jump on a single player game because I know that is going to require a lot of, brain space, a lot of brain matter, and a lot of just like focusing on this thing to like beat it. Except for Baldur's Gate 3, that's a special case. But like when it comes to a multiplayer game, it is very much so drop in, drop out because that's how they've been built now. And I think time is always a factor when you come to think of all this. And it's just like, oh, this is going to be a 30-hour like trek through whatever story content to
Mm.
like get to the end, and you talk about and you
But
finish with
look,
the game.
look at the end of Phil's statement. He's saying the role, like it's not like AAA games are going away, but
Mhm.
the role of a AAA publisher has changed and become less important in today's gaming industry. It's not the core. Like
Yeah,
it is like you can be important, but not the most important person in the room. Like there's a lot more distribution and success in gaming these days.
I I will say I
Like there's small games that become the biggest voice in the room.
yeah,
You have the year of your It Takes Twos, and also you have years of God of Wars. But we've seen at least within this last decade, at least decade and a half, at least, yeah, there's more diversity now. Like it's like the biggest ones aren't. I mean, the big quote unquote the. I need to italicize big. Like big should be
yeah,
italicized in my statement. The biggest
yeah,
ones are varying now in terms of
yes,
financial capital.
they are varying, and I do agree with that. I just think that in terms of this statement, in terms of AAA publishers have changed and become less important, I disagree with that because I think when you think a AAA publisher doing single player games, you jump to Sony, and they are the market leader right now. So like essentially they are very important, and it is a thing of like or Spider-Man 2 when that drops, it's gonna do gangbusters because it is Spider-Man, and that's like one of the like most favorite Marvel characters, and this
Mm.
is made by a studio that made a really good first first version of the Spider-Man game. So it's like that's gonna be a big drop. But I do agree in terms of them the publishers being less important because you think last year you had God of War Ragnarok versus Elden Ring, and it was very much so like that's Sony Santa Monica, like
Yeah.
that team is like god tier, and then you're facing it with
From
FromSoft,
soft.
who's also
Mhm.
god tier, but god tier on a different level in terms of what they're able to do with the money that they get, and it's just like
Yeah,
they
and
want it, they got it,
just
but it
just
is
just
yeah.
just focusing on language. It's not unimportant. Like Sony is still
Yes.
important. It is
Yes.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
there's more variety now in terms of
Right.
impact in the gaming industry.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point. Okay. So the next thing is Microsoft expected a Red Dead Redemption 2 next gen refresh. And
Yeah, it's just
How
fucking
much
take two
work
fucking
would that
around.
take?
yeah, it's like all right. Well, and
No, well,
obviously
like, well,
the
Sean,
point.
are you saying it take a lot of work or a little bit of work? Because I'm like in a
A
little bit
lot
of
of
work
work.
for a full next gen refresh of Red Dead Redemption 2.
That was a huge game. Did you play it?
No, yeah, yes, I played. Yeah, yeah, no, it
I
was
don't.
my
I
game.
don't remember.
No, yeah, no, like we had like a
Yeah.
long, we had that was Cam was on that one. He got mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a huge
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
but like, yeah, like Red. I mean,
Look
like,
how long it took to get a GTA 5,
Hmm.
refresh, next gen refresh. Like,
well, no, like that came fairly quickly though. Like from the Xbox One. What is there was an Xbox One version which came out
mhm.
because the way GTA 5 landed in 2013, then they put it on the Xbox One, and then they came out with the
They were probably
Series
already
X.
working on that.
Mm,
So here's some context that not necessarily context, but like just my speculation. I
Mhm.
think because this was anticipated for 2022. We got the GTA trilogy remaster in 2021, and that was a train fire, a train wreck. That was
mm,
Yeah.
devastation. in the video game industry. So I think because of that, Rockstar probably halted their other remasters because it's like, wait, this process that we set up obviously didn't work. So we need to figure this out. And I think that was probably enough for them to put it on the back burner. And then I guess 2022, we got the GTA 6 leak, and that was a whole thing as well. So I feel like there was probably just situations that kind of decrease the likelihood of this thing actually happening.
Yeah, it wasn't like I mean, the game was already great. I mean, it wasn't like it wasn't like a reboot. It was a remaster. It was going to be like we see more of Arthur Morgan's pores and wrinkles, and
right. As he's golfing at the guy.
Yeah, like I wasn't expecting more system. The same thing as GTA 5. It's the same fucking game,
right,
but shiny reflections off your car. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I mean, that takes time though. All the textures.
Yeah, it does take time. Yeah, for sure. All right, so we find out that 3/4 of Xbox gamers had a Series S.
That is a crazy number to me.
But it was updated though. That article was updated to 50/50.
Oh, okay.
It was updated 50/50. Everyone hold their horse.
Right, and then there's also the caveat that Xbox Series X dropped before the Xbox Series X. So there was some time where you could only get the Series S, and that being cheaper, and that being
okay, I get what you're saying. That was more available.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like that was going to happen just because of COVID. So yeah, and then Microsoft dramatically underestimated Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Ooh, everybody did.
Yeah, exactly. So the caveat behind this, or the hidden text is, as Sean said, everybody underestimated Baldur's Gate 3. Even the developers said that, yeah, people underestimated us. But like, again, hindsight is 2020. Like, this game is a great game, but it was only after it released that everyone just appreciated how great this game was. Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those hidden surprises that, like, Microsoft's all-seeing eye just didn't pick up back in 2020 when it was still in the early access phase, and it was probably rougher back then. So it's just like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Phil Spencer wasn't impressed by the PS5 reveal. This is actually the one that I don't have too much information on.
Yeah, it was just a one-off note between him.
He just said that we have better hardware in some aspects, but as I pointed out, with
better ingredients, better pizza.
Papa Phil.
Oh no!
No, I mean, in regards to that, you can have the best hardware and it doesn't matter, because look how many people came for the Game Boy's neck and countless other systems that after the Wii came out. People want to play
look
the
at
content.
the PS3 versus the Xbox 360. The PS3 was technically a superior console, but like
they made it dumbass hard to program for.
Yeah. So it's like, of course.
I wouldn't be surprised if Phil was coming from the perspective of like he was expecting more in terms of like how it was revealed, because we got it that fall during a showcase. Like, it was a big showcase where Miles Morales was shown, and at the end of it we finally saw it. And then about maybe like a month after, we saw the breakdown of it, which is kind of like it was more rigid. And like even the people talking about it more so like a conference style talking about it, coming from the PS4, to which probably Phil was more familiar with or had more majority of his tenure with, going to Jim Ryan's PS5, I think he might have been expecting more pop to it.
Right.
I mean, it was very like it was clear. Like, to his credit, I mean, it was clear and focused, and you knew what you were getting. It's PS5, Spider-Man, God of War, Last of Us, boom, 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 boom. Man, go home, you nerds.
They really focused in on the fact that this thing plays games.
Yeah,
that's kind of all that it does.
So
Microsoft accidentally got an exclusive Sega game. So this is basically the Like a Dragon thing that happened, and I think that was also a surprise for a lot of people. That kind of gave the Yakuza series like a shot in the arm, and it just made the game more popular than it already was.
Majima stan.
Isn't it crazy that Yakuza had zero presence on Xbox before Phil Spencer? Like, it wasn't on a platform at all. Like, even like, it wasn't. It was not there. Like, it was a PlayStation game, because it was Japanese focused type game that was available in the United States, but all the way up to 4 or 5, it was like locked down. And then if it was like, hey, this game is pretty cool.
I
Then
mean, I
boom.
wonder why that was. That's a discussion for
So
another day.
the based off of this information, it turns out the reason for Like a Dragon landing on Xbox first was due to two competing regional exclusivity agreements Sega made, essentially short-circuited each other. The result, Xbox players ate well while PlayStation fans wept
Okay,
emotionally.
that was like
Yes,
that's the author being a
yeah, that
that's
part.
IGN being weird.
But yeah. So yeah, I mean, like, but this is one of those hindsight being 2020 and seeing like the result of things like this happening, and it worked well for Microsoft.
No, Yakuza 3, 4, 5, and Yakuza 0 on the Xbox One back in 2009. I just don't think for whatever reason
Really?
they popped. Yeah, I'm looking at the wiki.
Oh,
How did you miss this, Jordan?
No, I'll look at that too. I'll look at that too. 'Cause I remember it like not being on Xbox like.
We could
I
talk
might
about
be
that
wrong.
later.
I might be wrong. Yeah, I might be wrong.
Okay, so the Xbox Series X might go all digital in 2024. Again,
That's crazy.
remember, this was back in 2020. I don't think that this is actually going to be a thing that happens. I think the industry proved enough that it's not ready for a all digital anything. But more context, this was back when PlayStation talked about doing their digital console versus their disc console, and the fact that the digital PlayStation 5 was pretty much nowhere to be seen in any stores except for if you got lucky or if you were a scalper. So yeah, anyways, Xbox Series X might go all digital in 2024. So they actually had a screenshot of this, and it's basically a cylinder of an Xbox Series X thing.
It looks like an Alexa.
Yes, it does look like an Alexa. Yeah, it does. Which is Xbox with the Xbox symbol on it. It was codenamed Brooklyn. The leak data indicates that the possible hardware refresh will include more internal storage, faster Wi-Fi, reduced power, and a impressive controller.
Immersive.
Picture there.
Immersive.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. They have a picture of the controller as well,
which isn't too different from the Xbox controller, but like tiny. Like it's actually it looks like it's closer to the PlayStation controller, to be honest, in terms of how tight the handles are.
Yeah, I'm happy that they're getting this with the precision haptic updates because that means that PlayStation will also get it. What are you about to say?
Wait, I mean, this might not happen. So that's the caveat that I want to say is that like this was back in 2020, and it is very possible that their plans have changed. Like Phil has said that they changed the plan. So this.
I hope it happens then because it's not like they got to code extra shit for one platform. Both platforms will have similar, control schemes and things available to them.
Yeah, it would be nice to get a cool controller like this. I think the all digital Xbox, that's cool, but I just don't think that we are in a place to have this happen right now and it be like, oh, this is great for all players. I think
people don't have the bandwidth for that.
Exactly. You can run to an issue where your kid wants this and you might not have a full understanding of like internet, downloading games, how big they are, how long they take, and you buy this thing and the child's like, I'm just trying to play Call of Duty and I can't play this game because it's taking everything. And then you get that bill and you're like, why is my internet bill so high? Like, what's happening now?
Wait, does download speed? I mean, does that typically affect your usage data?
Some plans will.
No, I'm talking about your overall download limit. Some companies still have.
Yeah.
Because
like if you don't have the gigabit Ethernet,
right,
the gigabit Ethernet connection, then you can run into issues with that down the line. So so and that's a problem that a lot of consumers will have unknowingly because they just don't have a full understanding of how their internet works.
I can see that.
Their Obama internet.
Microsoft sees its next Xbox as a cloud hybrid machine. So this cloud hybrid machine. So what?
It's like that's the Xbox Series S. I'm sorry, that's the Xbox Series S.
Oh.
It's a cloud machine. Like, go fucking,
You're not
like this
wrong.
is.
So this, for me, this seems like a combination of the Xbox Series X and that cloud device that Phil Spencer has in the back on his bookshelf or
Yeah,
whatever. It's like I
the
think
keynote,
that
the keyhole, or
yeah,
whatever.
this is this whole cloud or Xbox was supposed to come out in 2028, and that lines up with when they think the next console um, evolution will happen. Uh, eh, it's one of those things. Where it's like, all right, we'll see. That's such a long time now, and things can change. We can have an apocalypse, and the internet just doesn't work anymore. We can have 5G, 6G, 7G. You don't know. It could just be crazy. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, we don't need this stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much the reveals from this. As I had said earlier, the once this whole stuff leaked, Phil Spencer made a statement saying that it kind of sucks that this stuff came out the way it did because you know a lot of the people who worked on this stuff, plans have changed between then and now, and it kind of ruins their work and any surprises that they would have because we would always point to this and be like, oh, are they going to do this? Are they going to do this? Are they going to do this? But
Phil said that Phil said that they will be dealt with.
yeah.
Oh,
and
wow.
it slowly went to black.
Right?
But his eyes are glowing green.
With the X sign. Oh shit.
We're a family, but the family takes care of its own in all ways.
Oh, Phil has to go punish someone. All right, so that's that. The next Xbox thing, this will be really quick. So there is the Xbox digital broadcast for Tokyo Game Show 2023. This already happened. So the things that this from IGN by way of thing is loading. Have to go all the way up to the top of the screen. Wesley Pool. So yeah, essentially they had their show and they showed a couple of games. We had talked in a previous podcast about whether or not they would target more of the Japanese consumer in mind. It looks like that's what they did. So we have a game called Hotel Barcelona, which is a time looping horror action game collaboration between Swery and Suda51, and they are like pretty much well-known Japanese developers. If you don't know them, I think Swery or Suda did No More Hero. I think Suda51 did No More Heroes. I think that's right. And then Swery did a couple other games that I am just not aware of. So this Hotel Barcelona game is supposed to come out in 2024. Other news, Octopath Traveler 2 is finally coming to Xbox early 2024. Microsoft showed off the upcoming Forza Motorsport from Xbox Game Studios Turn 10 and its Hakone course, as well as the 2020 Toyota GR Supra. Oh, the Supra. If you watch Fast and the Furious, any of them, you know about the Supra. That wasn't like one of the first ones, right?
Yes.
Paul Walker had a
Yes, that's what it was. That's what it was. That's
the orange
that's the extent of
Supra with the Liberty Walk body kit.
There you go.
Ask me why I know that.
And then we have
Granny shifting.
We have Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy, Edian Chronicles, 100 Heroes, and Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name. They're all coming to Game Pass. There was other stuff dropped, but this is kind of the big thing. Yeah, I mean, this is all cool. I think for me, the Like a Dragon Gaiden coming to Game Pass is probably the biggest thing out of all of this. And I think this is all a really good play by Phil, by Xbox, to try to, garner those Japanese players, those Asian players onto Xbox with, these games.
I mean, the question is, am I going to be able to finish up all my Yakuza for it? Probably not.
No, not at all. Like I need to beat Like a Dragon before jumping into that. But like the way this year is going, I might get the actually I might get it over the holiday break. That might be a thing I do. So yeah, we'll see. Number 3. The UK regulator has provisionally approved Microsoft Activision acquisition. This comes from VGA by way of, wait a minute, Chris Scullion. Yeah, I mean, there's not really much to say here other than the fact that the Microsoft throwing their cloud rights to Ubisoft essentially opened the door for the CMA to say like, okay, this is okay with us. So, I mean, I think the final approval is in October, right?
Yeah, like the deadline's October
deadline, yeah.
18th.
Yeah.
But like this, it's done. It's more. We keep saying it's done. It's done. It's done. It's
Yeah.
done. But now it's like it's over. It's done.
Yeah.
Done. Like we're at the end.
So we'll probably get one more headline from this, and then we'll see what Microsoft does with Call of Duty, Overwatch, Diablo, Candy Crush. Yeah. All right. So before we jump into the next stuff, hey, you listener, viewer, we hope you enjoyed all the words we've been spouting at each other and at you. So do us a solid. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. If you are listening, you can't see me peer into your eyes. I'm peering into your ears. Do us a solid. Leave us a review. We greatly appreciate it on the Apple Podcast service or the service you are currently tuning in to listen to this podcast. So do it. Thank you. All right. Number 4. Ubisoft announces Tom Clancy's The Division 3. This comes from... Oh, wait. No, I got my stuff mixed up. This is from IGN. This comes by way of Wesley Impel.
Insert wet fart here.
Yeah, essentially. Basically what happened is that so Star Wars Outlaw creative director Julian that last name Girilli. Anyways, has become executive producer for the Division franchise, which has nearly 40 million players across all titles. Oh, geez, that last name. Girilli will now oversee all the Division games and products, including the Division 3. That is literally how they announced the Division 3's in development.
Yeah, via an X and a Zeet or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah, it's such a weird reason. Like, I'm trying to understand what is the benefits of announcing one of your biggest properties in this way, where the focus is on the creative director who's working on Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah, because it's massive. I mean, Massive is one of their top development studios over there. I think they're putting a lot of money behind, and as okay of a game Division is, it is a game that has built up a pretty strong following.
For sure.
So yeah, I mean, and going back to Phil's statement, some of these AAA either games, like, do they require that much fanfare as before? Like, just like, do we need to have like the big, boom, 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 I mean, like the fading black and stuff? Like, do we need that? Motherfuckers gonna buy it anyway.
Yeah, we have said a lot that this could be a blog post.
Huh?
You said motherfuckers gonna buy it anyway. Are you motherfuckers?
Yes, I am. I am there. I am in there begrudgingly. I'm pretty sure it'll be set in Seattle or some bullshit.
Yeah, I'll be trying this out too, for sure.
Set it in Huntsville, Alabama. Go ahead.
That'd be cool.
Oh no. Actually, I think it'd be cool if they set it in Vegas. Do that. That strip would be pretty cool to run down. Yeah. But I now thinking about it, I feel like I might have another read on this as to why they did this. I think it's very possible that this was done for the investors, because if they announce that, we're doing a Division 3, guys, and they know like, Division's the top seller, 40 million players. Oh, okay, we'll invest into you because we know we're going to make our money back in the future whenever this game comes out. So that's possible. That's a possibility. Number 5. Rockstar is building its own GamePass for a rotating assortment of games, starting with those terrible GTA remasters. Jeez, why? Why you got to go ahead and do that? It hurts. All right, so This comes from GamesRadar by way of Dustin Bailey. So, as the article says, GTA or Rockstar Games is trying to create this little system. So, GTA Plus now includes a rotating assortment of classic Rockstar game titles, starting with the maligned Definitive Edition remasters of the classic Grand Theft Auto 3 trilogy. And as we talked about, the game that launched back in 2022, and it's been updated and so on and so forth.
I'm wondering.
What are you wondering? What are you wondering, John?
How many games do they have ready to even put on a subscription service? Like, where's this gonna be on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, Switch? Like, how many games are actually readily available to play? Are they gonna have to do more work to get things ready just to put it
Because
on subscription service?
unlike Ubisoft Plus and EA Plus, they have their own applications that you can access via both PlayStation and Xbox. And this Rockstar Plus it's like something that exists within mainly Grand Theft Auto. I think it's a Grand Theft Auto UI or web browser UI.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see how they could think this will make money for them, because GTA is such a big property.
Yeah.
And we all talk about, oh man, we want to play San Andreas. That'd be so great if we can just go back and play the game.
No.
But like, exactly, it's just like, how many people will actually go back and play that game? Especially
Same
if
amount of people that'll go back and play Mass Effect multiple times.
Hey. Shots fired. Jesus.
I'm just
I
saying.
thought this was a safe space.
What I'm saying is there are a lot of people who play old games repeatedly.
No.
I still play Streets of Rage 2 repeatedly from time to time. So
no, like Rockstar, well, Take-Two is late to the party. I mean, I'm surprised that Take-Two did override this and come out with their own subscription first and have whatever benefits that why was Rockstar given so much room to have their own subscription service and not to be a Take-Two super service? Because Take-Two involves fucking NBA 2K and they already monetized shit out of that game. I was about to say dumb. Some people like that game, but like it would have made more sense for it to be bundled into a 2K. Like,
I mean,
plus.
nobody's gonna play the older 2K games though. They throw those.
But there's more there though. Like there's more IPs there. Like the same way with EA, they come out with the last Madden when a new one comes out. They put the last one on EA Play.
I mean, same thing with Take-Two will come out with a Take-Two subscription service. Yeah, they're double dipping.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, like, I'm just saying it would have made more sense if the 2K super system came out and had the Rockstar stuff in the forefront of it to generate interest, and then it would basically follow the same thing that EA did with their sports games.
Yeah. This brings me to Microsoft. I wonder if Microsoft was trying to get ahead of all of this by starting to buy out companies to put on Game Pass, because we had cable, then we had Netflix, and if you're like, oh, Netflix is doing great, let me make my HBO Max, my Amazon Prime, my Hulu, my whatever. And now we're seeing Ubisoft got their, I don't even remember what the hell it's called.
It's Ubisoft Plus. Ubisoft Plus.
EA has their thing.
EA Play.
EA also had Origin at one point. No, that was their store, but everybody's gonna try to get on the subscription service, and it's gonna just be a pain in the ass. So maybe they were getting ahead of all of this.
I
agree with Sean.
Yeah, no, I totally think that is a very good observation in terms of like what we're seeing and like the possible reasons for these moves. I look at this and I think like, because I read some more, and just a quick thing. So GTA Plus so it launched in 2022. GTA Plus is a $6 monthly subscription available for the current consoles. For the current consoles for GTA 5. So it offers an array of benefits aimed at GTA Online members, including a monthly deposit of $500K for your in-game bank account, a selection of
That's
cars and bonus items.
that's less than the PlayStation perk. PlayStation perk was like $1 million a month. That shit
They
was
stopped
lit.
that though.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised it wasn't at parody. That was a very good perk.
Yeah.
$1
So
million a month.
this definitely feels like one of those things where I think it's one of the things where Rockstar knows how much money they're making from GTA Online and probably looking at this GTA Plus pass, and they've done all they could with it in terms of GTA 5 support. So they're like, all right, well, where else can we go? We got the other GTA games that we're not really doing anything with. So let's put that into this and probably increase that $6 a month to probably like 12 or 10 or something to make even more money out of these people. And then we're going to give them the remasters and so on and so forth. So that's kind of where my thinking is like, oh, they probably feel like they can just make a little bit more money out of these people. But I don't know. All right. Now let us jump into the next thing, number 6. Cyberpunk 2077. All the changes in update 2.0. Jordan, you have the keys to this in terms of the download to this.
Yeah.
It is sitting on your console waiting for you to play.
Yeah.
What's been your take with all the resurgence of Cyberpunk 2077
Yeah.
stuffs?
Well, this is all in preparation for the big DLC, Liberty, Phantom Liberty, starring the Stringer Bell simulator. But beyond that, this is a standalone update that all players have access to, so you don't have to buy Phantom Liberty to reap the benefits of it. It includes more conversations with Keanu Reeves' character Johnny Silverhand, an overhaul of the skill tree, a overhaul to the in-game police pursuit system, police and mass tech. I saw some videos where you have a more variety of people that are chasing you than just regular ass cops. And I remember at level 5 you do get some max tech up in there, but how they deploy is unique too. They come down in the big hairier thing, and you feel like a fucking cyber psycho because you're basically a cyber psycho. You're killing everyone, all the bodies. But if you go out to the Badlands, it becomes Militech, which is pretty cool caveat if you watch Edge Runners. Smarter and harder AI. But I mean, the AI, because I've always had Cyberpunk 2077 on my quick resume on Xbox, and every day I just play a little bit of it just to fuck around and mess around with different builds. But I will say a more improved AI is better than just one that just kind of hones into your location without any type of level of self-preservation. So they're gonna take more, more tactical steps to get behind cover and shit like that. Vehicle combat, so you can shoot outside the whip, do a drive-by, GTA style, either on your car or motorcycle. I've seen this. Oh, okay, some community complaints, this one character River Ward, like him getting fleshed out in the ending epilogue or whatever. A memorial for the Edge Runners. So if you watch the Edge Runners series, they have Becca and not Kiwi because not gonna spoil that, but they have Becca and Maine and all that, so you can pay homage. More quest dialogue, a new cyberware system, and an overhaul to the phone interface. This is a pretty big change, possibly next to the transmog system, which came in earlier. Remember, people were complaining about looking like garbage men because the shit they had are the best stats. So you can't look fresh. It just never matched. So they slowly just put that away because they implemented transmog, which allowed you to have whatever you wanted but change what it looked like. But now clothing has very little impact to your armor and health after this update. So that's cool. Purchasing vehicles has been overhauled. Healing and throwables, stamina mechanics, which won't affect me because my stamina's through the roof. And also Dogtown. Wait, I can. Okay, so I think even outside of DLC, players can you can't go in it. You can look at the entrance to Dogtown. So buy the DLC. But yeah, all that is in preparation of the Phantom Liberty DLC, which is $30, and it has had amazing scores so far. And CD
Yeah.
Projekt Red has said that this is going to be the last DLC they're doing for the game until the second one comes out, because they already announced they will be doing a separate one called Cyberpunk Orion, is his code name. And also I'm out of all of this, I'm most interested to see how this affects the ending, because everyone keeps on saying it affects the ending, because a lot of the endings were fairly terminal is the best I can put it,
Yeah.
for your
Yeah.
character at various levels. Like there's happy terminal, there's sad terminal, but you learn about how terminal and dire your character's condition is early in the game, so that's not a huge spoiler. But I'm trying to figure out how that affects the ending, the ending segments of Cyberpunk 2077. That's why beyond Sugar Bell. That's the main reason why I'm there. I'm trying to see how I didn't have big issues with the ending, but I would have liked to have had it to be more open ended. But that's an RPG. That's kind of how RPGs are. There's like, hey, save here, do what you want to do, because you're about to go off the cliff. Like, fuck. So I was having so much fun. My character's so powerful. We'll see if that happened this time.
True that. Okay. Yeah, that seems like that's gonna be some good time for you whenever you make some space with your Starfield.
We'll fucking see, man. We will fucking see. I'm not trying to think about these next 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty conflicted on whether or not I want to jump into this. Like, I didn't have a great time playing Cyberpunk because I played it on a PS4 and it just was not built for that.
Yeah.
So it was a slog playing that. I did jump back probably like a year or two after, just to like see what like some of the updates and see what that was like. It played fine, but at the time, like my headspace just wasn't into that, and it was a thing of like
you're already over it.
Yeah. So going back to it was like just really difficult. But I think with all these updates and like seeing how much stuff has been improved, it's like, oh, that would be a cool game to jump back and kind of just see like what it's like now. But again, there's just so many games right now. It's just like, I don't even know. Like, I don't know. I have no idea if I'd be able to jump back into that. But yeah, we'll see though. We'll see. The last thing for this news, this bucket of news, we got a weird emphasis on Dragon's Dogma 2 from Capcom's showing at TGS. So I say weird because I was just chilling on YouTube and I got a ad for Dragon's Dogma 2 and I'm like, why is there an ad for this game? There's not even a release date. Like, what is
Because
happening?
Google knows you. All right.
It's always listening.
Be easy.
Always listening.
It is. I mean, I get it. I appreciate it. But like, it was just weird to have an ad for a game that is still in development. It was like, all right, guys, cool. So yeah, we got to see more footage on Dragon's Dogma 2. And it's been pretty interesting to watch the general audience comment and respond to this game, because a lot of people, know of Dragon's Dogma from other people telling them about this game and not necessarily playing the game, because it did come out around Skyrim. So it got completely just drowned out by all the air that Skyrim just sucked up. So a lot of people just didn't play this game. They weren't aware of this game. And, you know, what's his name? It's the developer of this also made Devil May Cry, essentially. So a lot of people know and love Devil May Cry, and there was always a thing of like, oh well, is he gonna make another Devil May Cry after Devil May Cry 5, or he's gonna make Dragon's Dogma 2? And he made Dragon's Dogma 2. So
Dante, like,
now they're not able here to defend Dante, so we'll we'll save Marcus this one time. You get the one time, Marcus. So yeah, in this trailer, we have seen a couple of new things. Real quick before we jump in trailer, a lot of people have talked about how quote unquote ugly this game looks in terms of it's not as crisp as you would expect a AAA third person hack and slash game to look like. I will say that we were watching a stream of it, and it's one of those things where the quality is very much so variable. So I don't necessarily look at this as being the final visual property or the final visual quality of the game or whatever. So there's that. In this trailer, what we see is a couple of returning things from Dragon's Dogma 1. We see the pawn system. The pawn system, if you don't know, is a very, very interesting way of making a single player game a multiplayer game. And essentially, every person who's playing the game, they have this pawn, which is a uh, NPC character that helps you through your quest. Everyone has to create a pawn, and these pawns they will learn how to do certain quests and take that information into themselves. And each pawn is put in a like other world system where you can go to that world and pick other people's pawns to use for your adventures. So it created this system of having pawns that could help you get through difficult missions because they have, they've experienced the missions and know what to do essentially. So that was really cool at the time. That was very innovative at the time. And to this point, we've never seen anything like that in a video game. So to see it come back in Dragon Dogma 2 is awesome. The other thing we saw in this that was new, actually, pawn system not new, it's old, but it's been updated. So all that stuff is going to feel a lot better in Dragon's Dogma 2. The new thing is there is a class. There's a thief class. So generally we have the ranger, we have the soldier, we have the mage, and now we have a thief class. The thief class very much seems like the assassin class, which was like the double dagger class that was really quick, good at climbing. They didn't mention anything about stealing items, but if you're a thief, I imagine you're gonna be stealing something. So we'll see how that plays. Um, that was for the most part, that was kind of the biggest like new thing for this preview. Everything else was more so showing a refinement of the systems that people who play this game know and love.
Mm-hmm.
So the big thing about this game that really hasn't been done, it's sort of done in Monster Hunter, but not as well, is like you can climb monsters and attack them while you're on them. And you're able to do certain things like, oh, I'm gonna jump on this monster leg, and you climb all the way up the monster, you get to its face, you get to its eye, and you stab it in the eye, and it's like, oh, you've blinded me. And you jump off and you do some combos before you hit the ground, and you do extra damage on the thing. Um, they have shown that there is more interactive uh, events between you and the monsters you're fighting. For example, one thing they showed was you can knock a cyclops down and it will create a bridge between two like cliff sides, and you can walk along the cyclops or whatever. So it's like I think things like that look cool. I am cautiously optimistic on this game.
All
I
right, Dr.
am look
Fauci.
I am looking at this game with the same cautious excitement as I had with Armor Core because I think
Mhm.
there's potential for this to be a really good game because I stand by the fact that Dragon's Dogma was a better RPG than Skyrim. Like hands down. If you play Dragon's Dogma and you play Skyrim and you think Skyrim's better, cool, you're a BGS person. Good for you. But like if
Yes,
they
bro.
keep if they keep that same energy, I definitely think that this is probably going to be one of the surprise heavy hitters for I'm going to say 2024 because I think this is going to come out in 2024 because I don't understand why they're spending marketing dollars for this game if it's not going to come out next year. It doesn't make any sense. That's just stupid. So yeah, as you can see in the trailer, you can jump on harpies and ride them for a bit. Your pawn grabbed and basically your pawn you jump on the harpy and your pawn saves you, and that's not something that has happened in Dragon's Dogma 1 because you definitely just fall on the ground and die. So yeah, this just looks interesting, and I can't wait for this to come out next year. So yeah, that's basically the news. We are at time. We are at time.
Because you want to spend all your time talking about dumbass.
I mean, it's news. You know what I mean? It's news.
I mean, news to who? News to who?
When this game sells 4 million units,
Yeah,
Jordan.
okay.
Okay.
Do you have that much money to buy it 4 million times?
I mean, I will by the time it comes out. Okay, so should we just run through the games we're playing, or should we just hold off? Well, let's 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 run through the games we're playing. We'll be quick. We'll be quick about it.
Yeah, I'll be succinct.
Yeah, we'll start with the first Descendant, because that was a beta that kind of surprised me, Marcus, and Sean. Marcus is not here. Marcus is editing. Marcus can hear this, but not be here, sir. So yeah, Sean, first Descendant. Give us your take on this beta.
This is Warframe / Destiny / looter shooter / while you're playing, pop up a banner saying, "Hey, take the survey. Do you like us?"
Like you seen here?
No, this is a solid entry from Nexon Games. It is slightly above average, but I think it will do numbers if they get rid of. It has very minimal jank, but if they get rid of whatever minimal jank is there and they support the game, it will make money. It was not as floaty as Destiny 2 to me, and it was not as loose as Warframe. This is Anthem without the flying. And but I will say I really didn't give a damn about the story, but it doesn't matter. If you're playing with friends, I think you'll just have fun. This is almost like I could play Call of Duty or DMZ, or I could play this. This was a fun, mindless. I'm sure the story is serviceable, but we didn't really pay much attention to that because we were too busy cracking jokes and laughing last night as we were playing until 2 a.m. So
Yeah.
it looks like it's gonna be free to play. It's gonna have 4 players, 4-player parties, from what it looks like. There's a lot of customization. There's a lot of strange, one of the big boss guys we played, his name was Greg. Just strange Korean
strange choices.
Yeah, strange Korean perspective on American. Maybe they met a tough guy named Greg with a one leg.
Could be.
Yeah, but it was a serviceable game. It felt satisfying to play. It didn't blow my mind.
Yeah,
but I didn't feel like I wasted time playing it.
Yeah. This feels like a solid 7.5 experience, and I think I say 7.5 in the best way I possibly can. I think a lot of the systems is solid. Like, the gameplay is fun. As Sean said, it's not as like poppy, or the game itself is pretty, but I think the actual effects aren't that pretty. It's just kind of serviceable, and I think that's stuff that can be improved when this game finally releases.
Are you talking about the particle effects and explosions and shit? Are you talking about that?
Yeah, the particle effects and explosions.
I mean, it don't gotta be flashy.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
It's gotta do the job.
Yeah,
it does have to do its job, but I think it just doesn't. It's not like, oh, that was a crazy thing that I did. It's just like, all right, I did the thing. Yeah. So I look at that stuff and I'm like, okay, well, that's stuff that can be improved in the future if they want to spend their focus on it. This game is a free to play game, as Sean said, and that means that the Descendants, which are the characters you get, you have to either spend currency to get them,
to unlock them.
Yeah, or you grind to unlock them. I think that is going to be the sticking point for a lot of people in terms of how much time they spend on this and how hard it is to actually get those Descendants. And then another thing too is that looking through the Descendants, none of them really felt too amazing, too crazy to me. It's just okay, this person does these things. I am trying to understand how it will work in the game and if it actually really does anything different other than just shooting your guns. So it's one of those things where the more time you spend, the more understanding you have of the game, and the more you can imagine how these certain characters, like a character that does poison, there's a character that does fire, there's a character that
Yeah.
does water, ice. It's
Also, when I say grind characters, it wasn't a big grind when we were playing. It was doing like 3 or 4 missions, at least for the one character that did have us unlock. I will say, I hope they do something different with the numbers. And when I say that, the currency, it costs 100,000 this or what, 1,000,000 of this. It just seems like a lot, and it doesn't need to be there.
yeah,
We were getting guns that had DPS of 2,000, and we're only level 8 or 9. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't need this. It doesn't need to be balls to the wall damage and HP numbers and all that crazy shit. They need to reel that in.
yeah, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Jordan, you have been playing Starfield.
Yeah.
What's
Oh
happening?
yeah, it's great. It's every time I read like the IGN GameSpot review, I'm like, those motherfuckers only played for like 6 hours. I mean, it's like like I'm just confused. I'm confused. I'm like, I've been on some crazy ass side quests this game, and I'm in the middle of one, which came out of nowhere. This is typical of most BGS games, but yeah, I was in the middle of the main quest, about to give my peoples an artifact for them to poke at and lick and do whatever they do, because they're like spacefaring weirdos and really cultish about finding about the unknown. But like, space police pull me over and say, "Hey, pop the trunk." And I'm like, all right. I mean, I have contraband shielded cargo. Like, don't worry.
Yeah.
And I already passed the inspection one time, so I can do it this time. They're like, oh, well, looks like you have a bounty. Looks like you have a bounty now. Come with us. And basically, I had been on like a 9-hour side quest of being James Bond. Like, I'm infiltrating the pirate fleet. And Sean, I think you might have like alluded to it in one of your posts about the game. I might be in the middle of that quest. I didn't look at it, but this might be it. And I'm like, this is just one out of what I've heard 8 of these mega quests within this game. And a time and time again, I would go to a planet and I go to like an outpost and I see people there with unique names. And they would like, you have like regular person, regular technician, but this person has a specific name on them. And I'm like, I'm gonna be back here later. I don't know who you are, but based on my experience so far, you're important. But time and time again, I'll run into those instances in this game, and how difficult it is to develop a sci-fi lore in most mediums. Bethesda did a great job. Like they did a good job with this universe, and I don't know. And this I was teetering between an 8.5 and a 9. I'm back to a 9 now. We'll see. We'll see if it stays at a 9 or if it goes below again or goes up. But yeah, like this game, like I'm at level 33. There's 100 levels. Like there's 100, and I don't know how the fuck people do a new game plus. They must just main the storyline and restarted it. I'm like, you missed so much shit. I'm at level 33, and I'm not even at the fringes of Settle Space. I haven't even. Mm-hmm.
Do you know like what happens with New Game Plus?
No, I don't. I kept myself shut out of all of this. I mean, like I'm collecting the artifacts. I have Jedi powers now. I have the Jedi powers. I have to go to temples and go through a loop, and boom, I'm Jedi. Yay! And they're like, oh wow, you're the chosen one. I'm like, I don't care. I just want to talk to people and steal things.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Starfield. It's like this. On Game Pass, I mean, this is a really good. It's becoming my game of the year. It should become my game of the year right now.
That's awesome. All right, and then I will just wrap it up quickly by saying that Baldur's Gate 3 continues to just impress me, astound me. It's becoming a game that I run into a big choice, and I'm just like, all right, what should I do here? Should I just follow this? Should I listen to the voice in my head? And it's just like, no matter what direction you do, it's going to create a water cooler moment for you, where it's just like, oh my god, I can't believe this thing just happened. Like, this is insane. Like, I was telling them, and then my AKA as well. I had got to this place where, for people who know, I got to Lyselle's camp, and I got to talk to her queen. And this is going to be a minor spoiler for people, but
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate 3 is a thing where
There's
it's
so
like,
much there. There's so much
yeah,
content.
it's a
Yeah, you're not
spoiler
gonna. Yeah.
if you did the exact same thing that I did, but like that might not happen for a lot of people. So I talked to her queen, and essentially the queen was like, I'm a god. And I called her bluff. And the queen was like, all right, bet. I wish you all to end. And then my characters just went down on the ground. They couldn't breathe. Then I got a game over screen. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, really? Oh, so you're really about that? Okay, okay. You know what? Let me load my save and approach this conversation differently. And
Save's
it
coming.
is, yeah, it's a thing of just like, I I completed this puzzle by, there was a statue that wouldn't rotate because it was stuck or whatever. Like 30-45 minutes ago, I had picked up a book. I read the book, and the book was saying like, oh, this the statues that we have, they're jammed. So this other person like had some oil and put oil into the statue, and it like spun all the way around or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's weird. There's no statues here. This is like a ruined city or whatever. 45 minutes pass or whatever. I get to the statue that doesn't work, and I'm just like, oh shit, that's right. He said oil. And I was like, wait, I don't have oil. And I'm looking through my like items or whatever. I have a bottle of grease, guys. You can use a bottle of grease to throw on enemies and then catch them on fire. So I used this bottle of grease, and I was like, I'll try it. Threw it on the machine, on the statue, and I was like, I think that worked. Clicked on the statue, I rotated that bitch around. I was like, oh, this is just awesome. And it allows you to, it gives you all these tools that you don't necessarily know are tools, and use them based off of your imagination. And so far, everything that I've done pretty much worked. Like, I ran into a wall, and I was just like, this wall seems magical, but I'm like, this also has a health bar. So I'm just going to beat this wall down. And I beat the wall down, and I got through and did what I needed to do. And it's just like, this game is so great.
Yeah, I'm
So yeah.
also playing Baldur's Gate 3 co-op with my girlfriend, and let's just say we have our roles and have our strengths. I'm best equipped to talk to people and figure things out as my character, as a high elf like wizard. Like, she's like this giant, like she's Gorg. She's like, I want to smash things. So like, there have been instances to which she would talk to people, and there'd be a negative outcome because she had like negative charisma. I'm like, you know what? Let's like work together. I mean, you can intimidate him in time, but for now, like, let me talk to the big man who might kill us both fairly easily. Let's not upset the queen god. Let him, because like my character's religious, so she might think I'm spitting. Like, she's like, yo, motherfucker spitting.
So yeah, and then the one last thing I'll say is that if you are just starting Baldur's Gate 3 and you don't know what to really like spec towards or what characters to pick, whatever character you pick, if you go with a character that's magical, try to get the ability to speak to animals. That will change.
Well, my character's magical. I need to. Yeah, I get that.
That will change how you perceive the game, and it's just like, it's so cool. Like, I know we're going long, but like, I had a conversation with an ox, and like, I think that person's the guy that like transformed into an ox and he didn't feel like doing anything, and he was just like chilling with the other ox. And it's just like, if I had the spell to like, if I had the spell to like dispel or whatever, I could have probably changed him back, but I just didn't have it. I didn't pick that as a spell. So like, there's just so much stuff you could do in this game, and it's insane. It's just so yeah, that's it. I'm done. Until next week. So yeah, that has been this episode of Press X Star Gamers Digest. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed making it and talking about it. Don't forget, you can like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Don't forget, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or podcast services you're currently tuned on if you are listening to us and not watching us. Don't forget to be a good person. Play some games. Wash your hands because COVID is back. And it has friends. They're also named COVID. Yeah, you know, just relax, chill, be good, play games, and do the things you do. That's pretty much it. So you take care. Bye.